Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. I want to do another news and prophecy. This will be off of an article that I found off of the expose. It's about 2 days old, and I might bring out a Lord's willing also a article from not an article, but a video from Redacted that came out. I think it was yesterday or maybe earlier today. Might have been yesterday, and I might bring out another article from the expose as well. But the main article I'm going to get into is this one. So it says director. This is from the expose again. It says director of biodiversity charity celebrates population decline as it will help governments meet climate change, which is something that you always hear all the time from individuals at the WEF, which is the World Economic Forum. We're always hearing these same words now coming up: climate change, carbon or carbon footprint. What's the other one? Depopulation as well, which is something that when you go to the Georgia Guidestones, that is one of the things that is on there. Let me see if I can find the picture that's up close with it. I think this would be it. And it says right there, right? It says maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So you see how they're linking climate control, right, with depopulation, saying that, if there's less people on the earth, there'll be the climate, the earth's climate or whatever will be, better and things like that. We'll be able to save the planet, because that's what they're going for right now, which is basically save the planet, because the world is in a crisis right now where there's too many people on the earth right now. Which, matter of fact, let me go to what's the other part. All right, so I'll read that part again on the Georgia Guidestone. So let's focus here for a second. It says maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature, which they're mixing that right now with the words of climate change, right? Climate change and depopulation. So that shows you on the Georgia Guidestones that what they're talking about: depopulation. Now, how else would you depopulate the earth? There's multiple ways for them to depopulate the earth, but one way of depopulating the earth would be to get rid of people, kill people. And one of the ways that they've done that, and one of the ways that they're going to use by doing that, is what you call him, William Bates, if you get what my drift, what I'm saying there, has been investing money into. I have an article, Lord's I could get into it, how William Bates has been, through the years putting money into the question mark, with his foundation, and basically funding money to the question mark for the improvement for the V, for the thing that people rolled up their sleeves and they pretty much scared people into taking, right? So that is one way that they're going to depopulate the earth, through having people take that. And people don't know what they've put in their bodies, right? But we know that if you watch alternative media or alternative news, there's a lot of people who have just been dropping suddenly out of nowhere. There was even a documentary on that because of the things that's in those things. And that's one of the ways that they want to maintain humanity under 500 million, which, give or take, could be less than that. You never know. They could change their minds about that. In perpetual balance with nature. So we have to depopulate the earth to save the earth. It's the same thing that they're saying now with climate change and depopulation. The same man, William Bates, was on TED Talk, and he said how we can achieve that with the rolling up the sleeves, whatever you want to call it, the V, the juicy juice, I don't care what you want to call it, Biden's taco sauce, whatever you want to call it. You can reduce the Earth's population to 10 to 15%, I believe he said, with that. And that's exactly what they did, and are doing with that, because people to this day are still getting sick from that. The other one, it says there is guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity, which is something that they're coming out now with. What is that? Bug burgers and all that. We have, because again, with climate change, which I'm going to get on Google as well. I have something I found on Google with that, cows are farting too much and cows is eating too much. People are eating too much. This is a problem. So we have to guide reproduction wisely, improve fitness and diversity. So you people are eating unhealthy. So we need to watch what you eat. We can't have you eating too much meat and things like that. So you gotta, instead of you having your beef burger, right? You gotta have your bug burger now. And also guide reproduction, right? Because again, they want to maintain humanity under 500 million, which way to guide reproduction is through that rolling up of the sleeves that they made everybody get. That's also messed with women's reproductive systems to where they can't have children, right? Again, if you watch alternative media or alternative articles or alternative news. So let me go to what is climate change real quick. Which one was it? Okay. So it says climate change definition. It says climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. These shifts may be natural, but since 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuel like coal, oil, gas, which produces heat-trapping gases. But also, here it says, what are the 5 causes of climate change, right? So these are the things that you'll hear individuals at the WF, right? Uh, Individuals that will say uh, is causing, problems on the earth. So they say generating power, generating electricity and heat by burning fossil fuel causes a large chunk of global emissions. It says manufacturing goods, cutting down forests, which you guys are the reason why forests get cut down, but okay. It says using transportation, right? So you people are moving around too much, which is why they're creating 15-minute I forgot how the term goes, but I think it's 15-minute cities or something like that, or 15-minute areas where everything is going to be within 15 minutes of your vicinity. You're not going to have to travel too long, right? So using transportation is causing climate change and things like that. Mind you, these are the guys that set up society. These are the guys that made, cars and things like that and buses and all that. But yet, hey, too much transportation is causing climate change now. So this is why they're coming up with 15-minute cities or 15-minute areas where everything will be close within your vicinity. I believe there's also that I forgot who came out with it, but there was a group of people that came up with like a city wall, and within that city wall or something like that, you'll have everything within your vicinity and things like that. I forgot what it's called, but it was like a city that's like a wall, like a strip, a long ass wall going somewhere. Continuing says producing food, so too much food. You Americans eat too much food, so we got to cut down on that food, right? Powering buildings and consuming too much, right? You people are consuming too much, especially meat. You're consuming too much meat, so we got to cut down on that. That's why they've been burning down certain factories of food. That's why William Bates has been buying up some farmlands as well. You got to start controlling that. And this is all going to lead into Revelation 13 and 16. This is not for no reason. Climate change, make no mistake, climate change, depopulation, this is all going to lead to Revelation 13 and 16. All right. As brothers sometimes say, all roads lead to CHIP. Well, that's what it is. This will all lead to that. Right. So this is what they're saying are the causes of climate change. Again, which, the average individual, what is using transportation, right? Consuming food, right? You go to work, you come back home, you eat and things like that. More people now buy food off of DoorDash and Uber Eats and things like that, and Grubhub and all these things, than actually staying home and cooking themselves. Because by the time you get home, you're usually tired. So most of the time, you're just consuming food, you'd order. So they're going to cut these things down because they're going to say, what, for the good of the planet, your overconsumption is causing a planet for the problem. But in order for them to stop you from doing that, what they're going to need to have a system in place to be able to track how much food you're eating, track where you're going and things like that. So for the good of, again, for the good of the planet, because that's what they're saying that this is based upon, right? For the good of the planet, we have to make sure that what you're not consuming too much, right? You're not traveling too much, because too much of you going here or that there could, you know, mess up the planet. So they're gonna have to have a system in place to be able to what? To monitor the people. Okay, if you just leave it to the people, people are not gonna care. People are gonna do whatever they want. So they're gonna have to have a system in place to be able to monitor the people, which is Revelation 13 to 16. So was that it for? Let me see. Was that it? Right, I got the Georgia Guidestones. I got the climate change. Right. So let's go into it, right? Right. And another thing, Salaki, I may have forgot to mention, I'll mention now, is with the also depopulation, right? Depop. That's how they want to what? Cut down on people. That's a way that they're going to cut down on people consuming too much and traveling all over the place too much. Because of what? Because if there's less people on the earth, that means, again, because this is what they're going to say, for the good of the planet, right? There has to be less people on Earth. Remember, William Bates said what? That we can reduce the population of the Earth, I believe, by 10 to 15% with just the V alone. So it shows you that what they're moving forward with their plans, which this is also a part of prophecy. Which, let me just get that precept, because we always bring out, or sometimes we will bring out this precept. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 14. Then answered I and said, I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more which of them shall that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved, like as a wave is greater than a drop. So I believe there's over 8 billion people on the planet Earth right now, if I'm not mistaken. And you want to get that under 500 million, right? Or maybe to 500 million, or maybe even less than that. You never know. They could change their minds, right? So that means you got to take off a lot of people off the earth. And this prophecy has to be fulfilled, right? Because it says like a wave is greater than a drop. So there's going to be a lot more people, because a wave, right, is a big ass wave of water, right? Consider to, like, let's say you just spill a little drop of water on the floor from your cup. That means a lot of people are going to die compared to how many people are going to be saved. Now, the 144,000 plus the numeral multitude, that is still a large number. But compared to how much people are going to be on the earth, that means a lot of people got to get deleted. So how are the ways that the Lord is going to use Esau, Edom to delete whole bunch of people off the earth? Through the means of the use of what? In the name of the good of the planet, as they're going to say, climate change, depopulation, by using the V to get rid of people, by killing people off as well. The train derailments as well, that's also a part of what? Getting rid of people. Having that big black smoke go up in the air, and it started causing people to get sick and things like that. People can't drink out of the water. It started contaminating the water where it was killing the fishes. So this is all an attack on the people. This is all part of the depopulation thing. These things that they're doing is not for no reason. This is a part of getting rid of people off of the earth. And the Lord has him doing that because what? The Lord is in control of both sides. He controls both the good and the bad, right? He controls both the evil angels and the righteous angels. So the Heavenly Father is using his sword to get rid of that wave that is spoken about, like I just read here in 2nd Ezra, that wave that is greater than a drop, right? So the Lord's going to use Esau, Edom to pretty much purge out a whole lot of people, but the Lord is going to save that elect, that small number, that remnant. So let's just get into the article. Slakia for being long-winded, just wanted to make sure I thoroughly explain myself. So it says, according to Scientific American Magazine opinion piece, a world with fewer people means a different climate and better outcomes for the plant's remaining inhabitants, human and otherwise. So again, If there's less people on the earth, that means there's a better chance that the earth will survive. But now you regular people have to think, hold up, wait a minute. What do you mean it's less people? Okay, you may be ignorant to the fact this. You might be like, okay, yeah, all right, less people on Earth. But hold up, how are you gonna get rid of people? Because what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna put people on another planet? They ain't not gonna put you on another planet. That's all lies talking about going to the moon, going to Mars. They ain't been nowhere. So how are they gonna get rid of people on the planet? Like I said, they're gonna start deleting some y'all, which they've already done with the V, and then they just gonna outright put people to death, martial law, and all these things. This is the ways that the Lord is going to use his sword to get rid of people off of the earth. This is the way the Lord is going to use his sword to bring judgment upon the wicked of this world. So it continues, says Stephanie Fieldstein opinion article refers to the United Nations forecasting that dozens of countries' populations will be shrinking by 2050 as good news. So again, less people on earth, that's a good news. But for those of you that, people like who are around my age, right? Some of you have kids now. Some of you are kids are probably like 5 and gonna get older. So you have to think this affects your kids as well. You may sit there and say, "Oh, I'm old" and things like that, so I ain't got to worry about this and things like that. Well, you got to think about your kids because, yeah, you may be getting older. And let's say by 2050, right, you may be 60 years old, 70 years old, so forth. You may not have to worry about that. But remember, you have kids and your kids are going to have to worry about this. So what kind of world are you living in for your kids? Right? It says, and what if your kids get deleted now? So you mean to tell me you just had kids just for them to get deleted? It says this is good news considering no other large animals population has grown as much as or sorry has grown as much as quickly or as devastatingly for other species as ours. We should all be celebrating population decline. Says the article asserts that fewer people require less feeding and energy. Right. So again, like I showed with the population, they want to decrease consumption. They want to decrease people traveling too much and things like that, right? So again, this article asserts that fewer people require less feeding and energy. So if there's less people, it means that y'all ain't gotta be consuming so much food. Meaning, if y'all ain't consuming so much food, meaning that for the this is gonna be better for the planet that people can survive. But the Lord already made the world in a way that the world will always sustain a multitude of people on it. Scriptures say that the earth abided forever, right? One generation comes and another goes, right? But the earth abided forever. So the Lord already set up this earth to continuously, to be in a continuous cycle of life with people coming and going, no matter what. But here it is, Esau, Edom, and them are coming with their, philosophy and their mindset, saying that there's too much people on the earth. We got to there has to be less people on the earth, and they're pretty much telling you that, look, some of you people have to go off the planet Earth, and this is going way over people's head, where people are not even paying attention. That look, think about it. How else are you going to get rid of people off of the Earth? You're not going to Mars. You're not going to any of these other planets. Where are you going to go if they're saying that the earth needs to be depopulated? Where are you going to go? The one way that you're going to get rid of people through depopulation is deleting you people, killing you people. That is how. But they're saying it, but they're just not saying it to you. It says the assumption is bolstered further by the notion that the globe is suffering from overpopulation, which which is reducing wildlife habitats and ecosystems as human involvement has negative impact on everything around it, which is incorrect. Not human involvement. You Edomite, the word really should be there is Edomite involvement has a negative impact on everything around it. Because you people, let's read that in Revelation. Because since you Edomites have been in power, you have been destroying the earth. The way you rule the earth has brought this earth to a lower state. right? That's why certain animals are beaching themselves. They're coming out of the seas because of all the trash that you put in the water, the pollution. You burn down the, certain rainforests and things like that. What's that about? You cut down trees when they shouldn't be cut down, and that has a negative effect upon the plant. And now you're coming here saying, so here it is, you destroy the planet by the way you profit off of it, right? But then now you're trying to come back and say, oh no, we got to save the planet. Bullshit. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, which are Israelites, and them that fear thy name, which are also Israelites, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. You Edomites, along with you other nations as well, you so-called Moabites, you I'm sorry, not so-called Moabites, sorry, so-called Chinese, so-called Japanese, you other nations that have been joined to Esau, you also have helped destroy the earth. So the Heavenly Father is going to destroy you, since you've destroyed the earth, right? The way that you people rule the earth, or the way you people suck the resources out of this planet for monetary reasons, for purposes of gaining money and things like that, right? You in doing these things, you have destroyed the earth. But now you want to come back around and turn around and say, oh well, for the betterment of the earth, now we have to depopulate. Which again, that's the Heavenly Father putting the Spirit upon them to get rid of 2/3 of the Lord's people. Also, other nations that are also going to be judged. But still, that's a wicked thing to think about, man. Here it is, you destroyed the earth, and now you're going to talk about trying to save the earth. It was by your means that the earth is in this situation that's in now. But continuing on, it says, ultimately, the opinion piece written by the Population and Sustainability Director at the Center for Biological Diversity states, population decline is only a threat to an economy based on growth. Shifting to a model based on degrowth and equity alongside lower fertility rates will help fight climate change and increase wealth and well-being. Excuse me. So again, in order for them to do this, they're going to need to have in place a system to be able to track the people, because there's also that term, tracking the carbon footprint. Certain individuals, if I'm not mistaken, the Davos talked about that. A certain Edomite man, a so-called white man, talked about tracking people's carbon footprint, right? Tracking how much they eat, tracking how much energy that they're producing into the world, right? And we have to limit these things so that way it doesn't mess up the planet. And if we don't want you people to have too many kids, because if you have, let's say you have about, the average American family will probably have about what? Let's say 1 to 2 kids, right? But let's say in the future that they want what? You can only have 1 kid, right? Or you may have 3, 4, 5 kids, or you know how Issachar gets and things like that. They be having almost close to 10 kids. No. We can't be having all that. That's too much people. That's too much mouths to feed. We need to put a cap on that. So they're also gonna put a cap on what? You fucking. They're gonna have to put a cap on your sex. Meaning, hey man, you in the middle of busting your wife? Nah, you gotta stop, because you might have a kid and like, nah. We don't want you too many mouths to feed that could mess up the planet. You gotta stop. So you in mid excitement with your woman, and you might have a beep or something. Hey brother, you gotta stop, chill out. You might bring a kid. You might bring too many kids on this planet. You gotta chill out right now. That's what the world's coming to. It may sound funny, but it is true. That's what they're coming to. The world is coming to. They show you that in these movies. They have that Big Brother is watching you, and Big Brother is gonna watch you through technology, which is that Revelation 13 and 16. That Revelation 13 and 16 will go deeper than just, not just buying and selling, but also go into what we're going into right now with what the climate change. Again, with you buying and selling with that, they're going to be able to what, put a stop on that, because then the CBDC is also coming into a play with that, right? The central bank digital currency. So with that in place, it's like, hey, for the sake of, they're going to use again that whole climate control for the good of the planet and things like that. Listen, you are allotted this amount of food, and this is what you can. This is how much food you can. This is how much money you get, and this is how much money you slack it. This is how much money you get for the week, and this is all the things that you're available to buy and things like that. And this is where you're able to go, right? And if you try to you do more than what you're supposed to do, we'll deduct your next pay, or will penalize you in some way, shape, or form. That MOTB is really gonna control people. That's going to be the new form of slavery and the new way that they control people. And it will be all under the guise of climate change, uh, bettering the planet. The planet's at a crisis right now, so we need to have a strong control on the people, so that way the planet doesn't blow up. Because Slack, if I keep ranting on, but this is a very important thing to get into, because this is something that I personally kind of didn't pay too much attention to, but watching videos like Elder Yashwamba's videos and going into it myself, when I watch these things and this meditating, it made me realize this is all connected. This is like this, it's all connected. It all makes sense, man. It's just like it's right here, but people like to act dumb. It says humans therefore must choose between population growth and the survival of the planet, which the everyday average individual will never choose that. This is why they are going to choose it for you, right? The essay posts repeating previous claims that the declining population and aging demographics help governments meet climate change goals. So what? Again, what did they just say there a little earlier? It says humans therefore must choose between population growth and the survival of the planet, right? The essay posits, hopefully I'm saying that rightly, repeating previous claims that declining population and aging demographics help governments meet climate change. So they're saying that people, right? Because humans, we as the people have to choose between population growth and the survival of the planet. But it says what? Help governments meet climate change. So again, these goals are not the people's goals, but the government's goals. So therefore what? The government is the one that's going to be choosing for you, not the people. It says slowing population growth helps reduce carbon emission, Fieldston says. It says the above is extracted from an article published by BritMax on the 9th of May 2023. All right. So continue, it says Igor Chudov has written several articles highlighting reductions in live births and increases in mortality around the world. So Stephanie Fieldstein's remarks in Scientific America caught his eye. Chudov noted that Feldstein, why am I trying to say that woman's name? Sounds weird. Feldstein recommends 2 books on her website. One of them, The Jane Effect, is devoted to Jane Goodall. Just like Feldstein, Goodall openly states her desire for a reduction in the world's population. At the World Economic Forum's Davos 2020 meeting, Goodall suggested the world human population should be reduced at an estimated 450 million. That's a lot of people. But how do you think they're going to, again, meet these means and things like that? Again, these things such as the train derailments are not just for nothing. They have a purpose by it to depopulate the people. All right. The usual dealing with the V that they scared everybody into taking, it takes about 8 to 10 years for that to go through about 3 trials and things like that to make sure it's good for people. Although us Israelites were not supposed to get that, pursuing to, if I'm not mistaken, Leviticus 19 and 27, you shall not make any cuttings in your flesh, nor print any marks upon you for the dead. I am the Lord. So we're not supposed to prick our bodies with any type of needles or anything like that. We're supposed to trust on the Lord to heal us. But it takes about 8 to about 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, to, for that to go through 3 trials to make sure it's good and safe for the people. But with the C that came out within these last 3 years, if you understand what I mean, what happened? It only took a couple of months for that to come out. Showing you that this was Slacker, I just lost my train of thought. That only took that this the V for the C, right? The C uno nueve shows you that they Like it says in Revelation 12:12, the devil shall come down upon you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So they know that, look, we have to speed these things up, and what they were using that to also depopulate the earth. That wasn't a means to save you people, but it was a means to depopulate the earth as well. It says, Feldstein's, did I read this? Okay, yeah, I did. So again, reducing, let me read that again. It says, Goodall suggested the world human population should be reduced to an estimate 450 million. So the way they're going to do that, like I said, is through the C19. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm not Spanish. That's one way of reducing the population, amongst other means that they're going to bring out as well. Feldstein leads the Center for Biological Diversity's work to highlight and address threats to endangered species and wild places from runaway human population growth and overconsumption. Linking human population and consumption is the basis of the limits to growth. Similarly, when she refers to a model based on degrowth alongside lower fertility rates, she is parroting the limits to growth ideology. The Limits to Growth is a report commissioned by the Club of Rome in the run-up to the United Nations' first ever environmental summit in Stockholm in 1972. Through a computer-simulated model, the report identified that human decision-making was luring our entire population slowly but inexorably toward environmental disaster. But you can't blame that upon the people. Matter of fact, hold on. What is that precept? I believe that's Sirach 10. Because they're saying, let me read that one more time. So it says, through a computer simulated model, the report identified that human decision making was luring out an entire population slowly but inexorably toward environmental disaster. But the people follow your rule. The people follow your the way that you go. That's what government means. Government means ruling the minds of the people. Govern means to rule, and ment meaning the mind, right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach chapter 10 verse 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government, right? Again, govern meaning rule, and ment meaning mind. And the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So the people are only following your vibration, the way you lead, and things like that. Again, it says, as the judge of the people is himself. So if the ruler or the judge is, let's say, wicked, or if, let's say, he's just, gluttonous and consumes too much and things like that, right? Or if let's say the judge was also a righteous king, because King David talks about that. He that ruleth in the kingdom of men must fear the Most High. So if you have a righteous king, meaning that what, if he's righteous, right? So are his officers. So those who are underneath the king, right? If you have a righteous king, those who are underneath the king are also going to be righteous and put forth the righteous laws, right? And then the people are also going to follow that. So the people follow the vibration from those who are above them. So you can't sit there and blame the people, saying the people are leading the people's lives are. Let me go back to that article. That human decision making was luring out, leading us to environmental disaster. You're the rulers of the people. You have led the people in this gluttonous state by the way that you rule. Don't you have overconsumption? Don't you have all these advertisements talking about eat this, eat that? What is it? Burger King, have it your way. What's that other thing? Finger looking good and all that. Everything here is all about consumption. This is what a consumer nation. So you have made the people this way, but now you're blaming the people as well. That's bullshit. You're the ruler. It falls upon you. Now, don't get it twisted. The people are also an issue. But again, you're the ruler of the people. This falls upon your head because what? You have ruled the people the wrong way. Why am I not seeing this book? Okay. Not 5, 6. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 1. It says, Hear therefore, O ye kings, understand and understand. Learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. Give ear, ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works. So you guys are the reason for all this bullshit on the earth, right? Again, not excluding the people for anything as well, but it starts with you. You're the one that leads the people, whether it be in righteousness or in wickedness, and you have led the people in wickedness. So therefore, this falls upon y'all head. Y'all can't run away from this and not want to blame the people and sit there and say, people's decision making. No, you motherfuckers are the reason why this earth is in that. So the Heavenly Father's going to come down upon y'all. It says, For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels, the way you rule this world, because being ministers of his kingdom, right, ye have not judged aright, nor kept the law right, because you do everything contrary to the scriptures, nor walked after the counsel of the heavenly Father. Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places. So it falls upon y'all heads. Y'all don't escape from this at all. Continuing, as it says, an article published by the Club of Rome stated, as we have learned through Neil Ferguson's manipulation of data through computer modeling from the start of the C era, predictive computer modeling can easily cherry pick, screw, and reframe data sets according to the desired outcome of controllers of the computer programmers. As we mentioned in a previous article, it appears that this is exactly what the models used to produce the limits to growth did. Which I know I've been doing a lot of talking, but I just want to get to a certain part, and then I'll definitely bring out precepts. So I slack you about that. It says 20 years after The Limits to Growth was published, co-founder of the Club of Rome, Dr. Alexander King, admitted the essential fraud of their environmental agenda in his 1991 book, The First Global Revolution. He admitted that the pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine was merely a ploy to justify an attack on humanity itself. So all this stuff, even now with the whole climate change, again, we all know, we should know that this is all from the Heavenly Father, but this is all a ploy, just a lie to what? To come down upon the people, to come down with that newer order. They're going to use the saying of we have to save the planet, and what we have to start taking away things from you people, as far as you can't consume as much. We have to now put a limit on where you go and things like that. We have to track your carbon footprint. They're going to use saving the planet as a means of what? Bringing in slavery. For the good of the earth, we have to enslave the earth. See? So it says, matter of fact, let me get a precept, like I said, because I kind of reached my point. Not going to go through the whole article, because there's other things I wanted to get to. I believe it's Psalm 64 and 6. So in order for them to do this, as it's going to say here, this is Psalm 64 and 6. It says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of everyone and the heart is deep. And when you read that in the NLT, it says, as they plot their crimes, they say, we have devised the perfect plan. So in their minds, this is a perfect plan to what? To enslave the earth. Because by the means of, hey, we've been checking out the planet. We see that things is going, bonkers in the planet. The planet is, out of course. So in order for us to do that, this is the plan that we've come up with in order to save the planet. We have to now track people's carbon footprint and make sure that you people aren't consuming too much. Make sure that you're not traveling too much. So we've devised a plan, 15-minute cities. You have everything within your vicinity, so that way you don't go too far. Whatever you need, medical, dental, whatever you may need, it's all right here. Don't worry about a car. You don't need a car no more. Everything is within 15 minutes of you, right? And don't worry about the food. We've already come up with the diet for you. Here's your bug burgers, right? No more beef burgers, baby boy. Bug burgers. Say it with me. Bug burgers is what you're going to start eating now, right? This is why they've started, burning down those facilities and things like that. William Bates has been buying up all those farmland. It's a means to control the people, right? And by doing that as well, let me just go to it as well. This is also going to come into play. This is going to be a major part of all of this. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in the right hand or in the forehead, which is going to be a small implantable device that is either going to go, it doesn't matter where it goes, but as it says here, either in the right hand or in the forehead, but it doesn't matter where it goes, because the next chapter, Revelation 14 tells you whoever receives it. So they're going to use this not only in a means to to control what you buy and sell, but also in a means to to be able to track you. Because this small device that's the size of a grain of rice is not only going to be able to have, as it says when you go into the root word of the MARK, when you go into the root word of that, it's charagma, which means a etching or cutting into the flesh, right? But in order to cut into the flesh, you need a sharp object to do so, which goes into the word karax, which is a pale or palisade, which the modern day pale or palisade or sharp object that you use to cut into the flesh, because again, it says in the right hand or in the forehead, would be a syringe, a needle. And then the grapho is the information that's left on it. So that little device that's going to be the size of a grain of rice is going to have your information on it, but it's also going to be used as a means in this new world to track where you're going, to be able to track and stop you from consuming too much, to stop you from traveling here too much. Hey, you're doing too much things, we have to put a stop on it. And if any point you get out of line, we can now cut you off, because you are now connected to us. You're now connected to the system, right? It's not as before where you had paper dollar, where you could just spend up your money on a whole bunch of things and they couldn't tell who's spending up the money. Now with things being digital and everything like CBDCs, everything being central, everything going to them, they can now watch and have eyes on who's doing what and who's saying what now. So now when you spend too much money, hey, if you spend too much money or do anything, we cut you off just like that. You're doing too much, right? You're getting out of hand, right? If you go somewhere that you're not supposed to go, we can also stop you. Say, hey, we could penalize you for doing things that you're not supposed to do, right? And also, in order for you to buy and sell, you're going to have that thing. If you want a job, you're going to have that. If you want to buy groceries, whatever, you're going to have that. But also, they're going to have your daily amount that they're going to put within that thing to, hey, you can only buy so much for this week or for these 2 weeks or maybe even for a month. And that you're going to have to make it work with that, sir. Again, this is for the betterment of the world. Like they say, you will own nothing and be happy. So you have little to next to nothing, but they will have everything though. But you will have nothing, but you're supposed to be happy because, hey, don't worry. This is for the betterment of the planet. You're doing a great job serving the world. And that's how Revelation 13 and 16 will also play a part in this as well, in them tracking you as well. So going back to Psalm 64 and 6, it says they search out iniquities, right? So they do a very diligent search in planning these things out, right? It says they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So they do a very deep search. Within their counsels, they do a very good job of finding out the perfect plan in order to trap people in, right? But this is the counter to it, right? Because even though they think that they're going to do these things and going to get away with it, but they're not. It says, verse 7, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded, right? Verse 8, and how is the Heavenly Father going to shoot at them with the arrow? By the missiles. He's going to destroy the system that Esau is going to build up that he thinks he's going to be able to have. I believe that's also in Job, where it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Verse 8, it says, so shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So Edomites are, certain Edomites are like whistleblowers where they're letting this information be coming out. And even with these articles, they're making their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Or certain Edomites that are in some of these secret societies or who know things, they'll come out and say certain things. Matter of fact, let me see. So I don't want to go too much with this article, but I will bring it out. So continuing says, so I'll bring that back again. He says he admitted that the pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine was merely a ploy to justify an attack on humanity itself. King famously said the real enemy is humanity itself, which again, the real enemy to humanity is not humans, it's you Edomites. So like, let me just get a drink of water real quick. Slakia. That's why I'm like slurring my words. The real enemy to humanity is you Edomites, because y'all are the ones destroying the earth. As is written. Screw it. If this is a long video, oh well. I didn't want it to be a long one, but oh well. This is Proverbs 29. Oh no, I passed it. 29 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. This is Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And you can see that the people are mourning right now. The world is not in a joyous state right now. People are not happy with the world. You have some people in the world right now that want to die, suicides and all that type of stuff. People feel lonely, right? But if the righteous were in authority, which are Israelites, the true Israelites, right? The people would rejoice because what? They would know that that righteous rulership is on the earth and everything is fine. People don't have to worry about their kids being kidnapped. People don't have to worry about, am I going to die and things like that. You would know that this is a world where you can feel safe, that the laws are just. But here in this world, under the wicked, the laws are not just. The laws are not, you have to worry about your kids being snatched up and things like that, just to give a few examples. It says the real enemy is humanity itself, which again is you Edomites. This zero growth anti-human agenda, whose early proponents also include David Rockefeller, there's one of them names, and Maurice Strong, is now being rolled out as the Great Reset, Agenda 2030, and the Net Zero Carbon Rules. So this what was it called? The Limits to Growth, it had an original name, which was called the Limits to Growth, but now it's being rolled out as the Great Reset, Agenda 2030, and Net Zero Carbon Rules. So they just, something that they were thinking about years ago, they're just now renaming it to the Great Reset, Agenda 2030. But this is not something new. This is something that they have always thought about and always planned. It's just under a new name now, the Great Reset 2030, and so forth. But this is something that you see, they search out iniquity. So this is a plan that they've had in the works for years, but just going through different names throughout the years. But now when you come to it in your time, you're probably thinking, oh, this is a new idea that they come out. No, this is something that's been going on for 30 plus years, maybe even more than that. It says Dennis Meadows, his wife, let me see. Okay, so yeah, that would be it on this article. But let me bring out some precepts. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, right? Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And the way that he is being revealed, is through the spirit of the Lord's mouth, is by the prophets. That's how the Lord is revealing him, through the spirit of his mouth, which are his prophets. And it says, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, is when the Lord Yahweh Shai comes back, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, to take down his power, to take down this system that he's trying to create, or this new system, I should say, that he's trying to create to keep the world in a perpetual slavery, to keep their birthright. Now, I also want to get something off of Redacted. I'm not going to play the video, but I will. Where is it? Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not going to play it, but I'm just going to talk about it real quick. It's this video right here where it says Biden just got a warning. This is an invasion. And when you go through that video, you can watch it for yourself. Not going to play it. But when you go through it, you have something called Title 42, which I'll look it up. I don't mind. Okay, I think it was off of Wikipedia that I looked it up. Okay, so let's just read here. It says, what is Title 42? It says Title 42 is the United States Code, is the code that addresses public health, social welfare, and civil rights. Title 42 was a previously rarely used clause of the 1944 Public Health Services Law until the Trump administration began using it in 2020 to prevent migrants from entering the United States, because during that time you had the issue with the sea. So Title 42, just to get just the thing, is basically, it's a law that they put in place that when there's a certain like using example for the sea, when there's a I gotta be careful with my words. I'll just say this word, god damn it. When there's a pandemic in a country, basically America can close up its borders to prevent people from coming in, right? So it prevented immigrants from coming in, so that way the spread of the sea won't get, out of hand. But now, since they've ended that and say that we're no longer in that era, in the sea era no more, well, Title 42 is going away now. And with that, you have immigrants, a flood of immigrants coming in into America. And when you watch that video off of Redacted, the individuals were saying that some of these individuals look to be, of military age, meaning like, they look like they could, some of them look like they're here to invade America, and some of them, when they came into America, already started getting guns and things like that. And also, you have to think about, if you just have a flood of immigrants coming into land. Now, I know what you may be thinking, Salaki, I forgot to mention this, but when you watch the video for yourself, you only have like 5 people at the borders that are trying to stop like thousands of people coming in. You can't stop thousands of people coming into the border with just 5 people. So they don't have enough people to stop people from coming into the border. So they have a term called, I think it's a broken arrow, he says in the video, where it's like, basically we need help because it's like we're overwhelmed here. Because you only have so much of us, but there's so many of them coming in, we need help. But Biden is not sending no help over there to the borders. So you just have an influx of immigrants coming in that are getting weapons when they come into the country, right? But also, some of these immigrants, you may not know who they are, because some of these guys could be killers. Some of these guys could be psychotic people, deranged people. You don't know who you've just let into the country now, right? And this is also going to lead to, like I was mentioning earlier, that wave of drop, because now when all hell breaks loose, you're going to have an influx of people that are in this country, right, that are, they would say, that you could call aliens, that are not going to go buck wild here in America, that are going to go crazy, or they could be sleeper agents from other countries come here to attack America. You never know. Matter of fact, what precept did I have? Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, this is the last precept I believe I have. This is Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 2. It says, "And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, Whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, Thus saith the Lord, such as are for death to death, and as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity." So the captivity is going to be those concentration camps. There's going to be famine here in America, which is a lack of food, right? Because when all hell breaks loose, there's going to be a lack of food. And now with more immigrants coming into this land, that's more people eating up food that could also cause a famine as well. Because that's more people that's going to be searching out for food as well, right? It says such as are for death to death. So there's going to be people with just going crazy throughout the city. Some of these people could be from other countries to attack America. That's just gonna be like if you ever played the game the Division, right? If you played the first game, the Division 1, uh, these division agents would act like normal people, right? But they had like some like technology like on their, like, I think it was a watch, right? And the watch would light up with the circle because that's like the logo for the division. It'll be a circle, and it would the watch would light up, right? It would be a little orange circle, and when they saw that, they knew, oh, okay, the country needs me for something, right? And it could be the same thing here. Like some of these people that you may be friends with, you think, oh, this guy's just a normal person, but when he gets that ring on his watch or whatever, or his country is calling him because they need him to do something, he's gonna go do it and go crazy and destroy up a whole bunch of things in America, or just light up a whole bunch of people. Again, some of these immigrants were getting guns as they came into the country. What do you need a gun for the minute you're getting here? And don't try to think that I'm saying I hate immigrants or anything like that. But this is something that you have to consider and think about as these people are getting into this country. Again, you don't know who these people are that are coming into this country, which this could also lead to judgment. Because again, this influx of people come here, you don't know who these people may be or what type of mindset these people have. Some of these people could be grapists, right? That's also going to lead to prophecy where it says, if I'm not mistaken, Isaiah 13, your wives shall be ravished, right? Some of these men that are coming from these other countries could ravish men's wives, right? Kill people, again, like it's written here, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword. So people are going to be having what? Guns in their hands, actual actual swords, maybe machetes and things like that, right? And kill people here when all hell breaks loose, because it's going to be every man for themselves. And such as are for famine to famine, so a lack of food. So people are going to die from a lack of food, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity. So some people are going to also be in those concentration camps, and that could also be used as a means to what, depopulate the earth as well. So that's all to add to what uh the main uh the main precept that I brought out, which I believe was the first precept, which was second Ezra 9, right? And 16, like as a wave is greater than a drop. Oh, sorry, let me read that again. I'll start from verse 14. Sorry. It says, then second Ezra chapter 9, verse 14. Then answered I and said, I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more which of them, sorry, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. Like as a wave is greater than a drop, and all these events happening in the world is going to lead to that. It's not something that we could just skim over and just be like, ah, that's something. No, all these events could lead to that, that destruction of people. That's why Yahushua said, watch as well as pray, that you may be able to escape all these things and stand before the Son of Man. So as I was, meditating and watching all these things and reading these articles, the Spirit gave this to me, and the Spirit told me to do a video on this. So Lord's willing, this is edifying video. Salakia for the long-windedness, the ranting, but I just wanted to make sure I was clear in my in bringing this video out. So as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, of great millstone, and peace and blessings to the whole elect. Shalom.